Hello, everybody. Good morning or good afternoon, depending where you are. So, to start with, I would like to challenge a little bit your scientific thinking, infusing a little bit of spirituality and a little bit of permaculture into today's presentation. Next, please. So, Conscious Gems is practically a project that I have been creating, or it has been creating through me, let's say it better. And it applies to different systems that are also used in nature. And I will start from the system of regeneration from the macro to the micro, or the micro to the macro. This project has come as a guideline, as a blueprint. And it starts with the pyramid of Maslow that most of you most probably know. And this pyramid has to do about our needs. And then this pyramid can be translated also with the 5 elements, starting with the earth, and each element is connecting to one specific action. So the earth is connected to permaculture, for example. Earth, metal, water, wood, and fire create a whole circle. So automatically we're going from the traditional pyramidic systems that we used to have in our organizations into the circular ones, because the one element is actually holding and creating the next one. And that's how it's happening in nature. And if we translate it to our projects, we can start having it in our project too. So the whole idea is, how do we translate nature into what we are doing, how we are functioning? So we don't have systems growing and dying and growing and dying, but we have whole circles of regeneration. So we create, we rise, we fail, and we become mycelium to feed back other projects and give our information to new cycles of us. So the pyramid to the circle, we can see that the individual system, the small triangle, is becoming part of a circle that can be a group, that can be your organization, that can even grow further and become a node of a bigger system that is working in the whole globe. And many systems together are creating a whole ecosystem. Exactly the same as the nature is doing it. A single cell is a full organism, but all together with other cells will end up creating an organism, an individual, a person. That part of a group is becoming a bigger system, our team, our company, and then this all of a sudden is becoming part of our ecosystem, of the country, of the nation, of the world. Next, please. So this was the first layer, from the macro to the micro and the micro to the macro, to see ourselves as part of the ecosystems. And the second one that I would like to introduce are the cycles. We all function by cycles. And actually, this system came to be by pure observation. Like 2 years ago, I went and I watched my calendar, my entries in my calendar, and I started realizing that each month, for some reason, had a pattern. So in some months, I was like super outgoing, meeting people, having meetings, spreading the information, everything. In other months, I was just observing or working in myself, like deep work, deep focus. And then I realized that that was repeating every year. So then I looked deeper. And then I started realizing that these patterns were somehow connecting with the zodiac signs. And why is it? Because the zodiac signs, they're just a translation of the constellations that are happening around the planet in one specific month. It has nothing to do with characteristics and everything that we have attached it to. It's practically how our planet is moving in the solar system. Next one, please. So starting to overlay cycles, I was curious to see if there were other relationships that we couldn't see, or we didn't know, or I didn't know, and how I could apply that to my life and to my projects. So I started looking at layers and layers of cycles that are working in the earth and see if there are correlations. And in this one that you are seeing, the macro, is you're seeing the bigger picture with all the layers, and then we will start zooming in slowly. You can see the principles of permaculture, which is 12 principles. And I was like, let's see if any of those might be connected to any of the other characteristics that I could see. And then I started saying, and I would think that some of the principles, for example, the use and restore energy, have the same characteristic of the zodiac sign that is representing this month. Next one, please. Going deeper into the cycle, I was realizing that the seasons, the 4 seasons, have specific characteristics, right? In the winter, we are more inside ourselves towards where we are going right now. When in spring, we want to go out, we want to expand. And in summer, we are in full blossom, in full openness, going into the autumn that we are starting, slowly coming closer to ourselves and harvesting what we have created. And deeper into the cycles, please, you can continue to the next one. I was realizing that our projects themselves are having patterns that apply also to our full 1 day cycle of our bodies from dawn to dawn. So our project starts with the first light and with new ideas going into creating something, putting more energy into it. That is the early morning, which is the time, according to Ayurveda, that we have the more experience to be outgoing and actually talk about our projects. And then it's going to the middle day, that which is our metabolism is the highest possible. And that is the time that we can create new teams, expand, and communicate, going towards the sunset, that we start retrieving inside ourselves and we want to relax and get closer. Do you remember autumn? That's the moment we are right now. It's the sunset of the period of time, right? And they are going into the night that we just want to chill, share, and be in a comfortable space. Remember winter? Same thing. And then we're moving into recuperation that is happening, the incubation during winter, to go into a new day again. Please, next slide. So all of that apply both to the plants, to ourselves, to nature, to everything that is around us. And I will just go a little bit faster. I have shared that with you anyhow if you want. You can see 12 months. You can see 1 day. You can see the moon cycles, which is 28 to 8 days. You can see the week, which is 7 days, and you can see 1 day. According to the organism we were looking at, we have to apply different types of cycles. If it's a smaller organism, a person, a small project, you can apply the daily cycles or even the moon cycles. If it's a bigger organism, an organization, a nation, a very big project, you might want to apply multiple year cycles. But still, there are layers over layers that are functioning at the same time. Next slide, please. We can continue to the next one. This is the moon cycle, so we can talk a little bit more. This is the weekly cycles. Next one, please. And I would like to just look a little bit how this has been applied until now into the project, because I was looking back actually, and I was realizing that without even wanting to, the nature itself was creating it, and it was applied anyhow. So it started last August with the seed, practically seeding the first idea of the coherence research. Going into incubation last January, it started creating something inside a space, right? And that was in Davos in Switzerland. Third step in April was the flowering. It was creating the blueprint, the team creation, going outwards, bursting the first flower. In June was the time to practically go into obtaining the yield, and that was the first time we moved into a community in the south of West France, and we started really interacting between us. And then we're going to September, and we're going into harvesting whatever has happened and understanding how many people are on board and which are the gifts of them. And we're moving forward and continuing applying all these principles. We're going into a new incubation, but this time there's a second layer because the seeds are different. The seeds are more than the first seed last August. And continuing that, we will grow. We continue growing naturally and according to nature. And this is practically a proposal for all of us to understand that the right action at the right time will eventually create a cycle of birth, expansion, death, and rejuvenation without even us having to put any more effort. So it's practically an invitation to see when and how to act, so we can be in a flow with the universe instead of contrary to it. We can be together with it. So thank you very much for that. I hope it's inspiring for all of you. And if you have questions, please let me know.